My patrons are really just out here making sure I am up to date on all of the new horror movies this year. Hey there, creepy peeps, I'm Nightmare Maven. Welcome back to my channel. If you happen to be new here, hello. I talk about horror movies, horror books, all horror things all year long. So if you end up liking this video, subscribe. 10 out of 10 doctors recommend. I'm not gonna lie, I was intimidated to watch Infinity Pool. It's directed by Brandon Cronenberg, who did Possession, and I'm gonna be honest, I am still unsure if I even understood that movie, let alone trying to comprehend another one of his films. So your girl was nervous. So pun intended, I jumped into the deep end and finally saw Infinity Pool. So the movie follows James and Em Foster, who are staying at an exclusive resort on the fictional island of Latolka. So James and Em meet another couple while at the resort, Albin and Gabby, who take the pair on an excursion outside the gated resort, which leads to James accidentally running over a local man. When the authorities take James in, he learns about the island's unique way of dealing with crime. So right off the bat, I feel like I understood this one a little bit more than Possession, or I could be completely off base, who knows? I really loved the subtle touch of sci-fi in Infinity Pool with this idea that this island can clone people, including their minds, and you know, they have all the same memories as their clone, which is remarkable. I've yet to see or read any sci-fi story that was that good when it came to cloning people. And as I was watching, I kind of felt like a very alternate version of The Purge. Hear me out, it makes sense. So we have this island where rich people go and commit crimes with no consequences really, at least not to them. Like the group that Gabby and Albin are a part of get immense entertainment from committing crimes and then getting doubled and seeing those doubles executed. So the movie is essentially exploring what happens to our humanity when there's no consequences for wrongdoing or murder, crime, whatever. It's The Purge. It's just an alternate take on a very similar idea. I feel like there was a lot of themes going on in this movie, or maybe I just couldn't decide which way I really wanted to interpret this film. On one hand, I feel like there's very much an exploration of what someone might do to remain wealthy. Our protagonist, James, was not born into a rich family at all. That's established at the beginning of the movie. His wife, Em, mentions this to strangers essentially as if it's just normal conversation, and James acknowledges this also. He's very aware, but he's obviously benefiting from this wealthy lifestyle, right? Then along comes Gabby and her like group of friends, the rich people that like to clone themselves all the time, and they kind of accept James after he's cloned for the first time, and it seems like maybe he's kind of like fallen in with some friends until they start making him do like all these crazy and violent things. It was clear to me kind of early on that they were teasing him, and this is revealed to be true later. But James continues to go along with it because he's among the wealthy. Like, where does that leave him if he doesn't have rich people around him to leech off of, essentially? And by that token, I feel like you could totally see this movie as like a reflection of the filmmaker himself, Brandon Cronenberg, who obviously has the privilege of being the child of a very famous filmmaker. That gives him a head start in the industry over a lot of other people. I think it very much relates to James's story in that he enjoys all the privileges of being wealthy because of his wife and his wife's family. So the movie is James trying to kind of prove that he belongs in this group. I love movies like this when there's many different ways you could interpret it, at least like as an overall message. But then there's also like little things going on that you can nitpick at and explore, like the whole conflict of the James at the end of the movie. Is this the same James that we started the movie with? When he gets taken in by the police and he's cloned for the first time, I just immediately assumed that the real James got executed and we were following a clone, because I didn't look into this movie ahead of time. So I was like, oh, maybe that's going to be the conflict of the movie, is like, is he a clone or not? Boy, was I wrong. But I think the movie works either way, whichever you believe, and the message only changes slightly depending on whether you view the James by the end of the movie as a double or not. Personally, I think the real James was the first to die. There's other things that also kind of aren't the main focus of the film, but they could be if that's the angle you want to take. There are definite themes of like elitism and classism, which is very obvious between like how this resort operates and the locals, and we kind of get a hint too that there are other resorts on the island just like this. But also thinking about the clone thing, there's also an added layer of elitism to this, because only the ultra wealthy, only the people who can foot the bill are given the privilege of being cloned and having that clone executed. This is the law of the land, that if you commit a crime and you're caught, you're executed. All the normal people of the island don't get that second chance, they just get executed. Plus, there's a dollop of colonialism, because of course there is, with this idea of non-locals coming in and building these resorts like Albin did. And these resorts are gated and guarded against the rest of the country so that the rich white people can have fun in a foreign country and then go in and commit crimes and get away with it. Like history of the world much? I could go just on and on about all the different things going on in this movie. I'm calling it now. It's got to be a Does This Offend You episode at some point. Other aspects of the movie, I thought the acting was great. I really enjoy seeing Alexander Skarsgård in most things, and I love when he does something on the darker side or spookier side. I do miss True Blood Alexander Skarsgård a lot, so seeing him do spookier stuff is always fun. I particularly liked seeing him play this kind of character because James is low-key kind of a wimp. Like, it's just a different role than the ones I've seen him in so far, and I thought that was cool. And then of course we have Mia Goth, who anything she's in just turns to gold. This is no exception. She's brilliant. I love that the horror genre is like kind of in its unhinged woman era right now. I'm living. I absolutely love Mia Goth's character in this. Gabby is just truly an evil woman, and I'm here for it. Bravo. My only gripe, if I had to nitpick at one thing, it's the weird nipple shit happening in the orgy scene. What the fuck was going on there? So not surprising at all. Probably by the time this video goes up, I probably still haven't logged it on Letterboxd, because it's one of those where it's like, I don't know what the fuck to rate this. I'm getting very comfortable with just logging films though and not rating them. How do you apply a number to films like this? I don't get it. It's all arbitrary anyway. I'm assuming most of you have probably seen Infinity Pool already, so please let me know what you thought about it in the comments and let me know your interpretations. I'd love to read them. I do hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. And if you find yourself giving it a thumbs up right now, you should be subscribing. That's just a fact. I'll see you very soon with a new video. Until then, stay strange. Bye.